Without further ado, Miami-Dade Fire Rescue Department is doing some recruiting, so I have some amazing guests here. Please introduce yourself, young lady.
Hi, I'm firefighter Cecilia Harbin.
That's what's up.
My name is David Valletta.
I'm firefighter Lazaro Quintana.
That's what's up. Welcome, and thank you for your service. I don't just do that for, people in the armed forces. I say that to police and firefighters as well,
Thank
you.
because what you do is definitely a service, and you put your life on the line on a daily basis to help others, and that's really amazing. So thank you for what you're doing and deciding to do it. So
Thank you.
you're trying to get more people to do what you do.
We are.
Talk about that a little bit. Let's start with your experience. Maybe people will be more in depth if they find out, what the experience is like for you.
Well, I started a little older. I went through the academy at 39 years old.
Cool.
Right. So I was a little intimidated by the younger people. But once everything started, I gained confidence, with the instructors, the training instructors. They kind of encourage you and push you, and I made it through. I'm here.
And I love it. And that's kind of like a story, too, because another friend of mine that y'all probably know, I know Chief knows him, Sean Smith, he also started late in his career as well. So
Okay.
that's kind of like a good point, because mostly when you think of, most firefighters, you think, starting at a younger age.
You do.
So now you're, giving
Oh, yeah.
people opportunity and shining the light on that because you started a little bit older.
Definitely.
And then look where you are. You're here.
Yeah, if I can do it, anyone can do it.
Don't say it like that, though. Let's talk about your experience.
Since I was little, I wanted to be a firefighter. I graduated high school and applied one time, but I didn't get in.
They're picky, huh?
They're a little picky, but I didn't get in. But that didn't discourage me.
Nice.
Before I was a firefighter, I was a correctional officer, along with Harbin here.
I
Oh,
was.
cool.
So one day I just walked in and I saw somebody applying, and I was like, you know what? I think I'm gonna do this again.
Yeah.
So I applied and I got in. The academy was tough, but I'm mentally strong and I was physically strong. So we got through it, and here I am 9 years later.
Oh, wow. All right. Almost at that 10-year. Let's talk about your
Yeah,
experience.
I'm really grateful. I started super young. I feel like every high schooler's dream is to get out of high school and do this job. So I started at the ripe age of 20. I got out
Wow.
of high school. I did dispatching for a little bit for a police department to kind of get my feet wet.
Mhm.
And then at 20, I started the academy. Harbin and I were in the same class. So it's
Cool.
cool that we have such a big age difference, but we were able to do it together and kind of build that family together. So I started super young. 3 years on now is what we have, and we're loving every day of it.
You always knew that you want to do it like from young. Were you kind of like leaning towards it?
I did, yeah. So I took advantage of the opportunity that we offer, the cadet program for high schoolers. So even then,
Exactly.
I started that super young.
Can
and
you
I kinda
talk
kept
about
it
that
up.
experience? Because that's something I want our young folks to understand.
Yeah, of
Like even
course.
before they can actually get the job, there's things that they could do to prepare for it.
Yeah, so it's for high schoolers. They have a
Mm-hmm.
certain age range that they require, but you can be in high school. They put you through the training. They give you gear, and then you go out and you do ride-alongs. So they're on the rescue units. They're on the fire trucks with us, and it's really cool having that younger generation being able to look up at you and know that they want to do it from such a young age and start that experience.
That's
Very
what's
cool.
up. I want you guys to know that you're the envy of all the police officers. I'm sure you know it already. But you have a pretty cool schedule. I try to get my son actually to do it, Anyway. But you guys have a really interesting schedule. Could you talk about how your schedule works?
We're on 24 hours and we're off 48. So you work a full day and then you're off for 2 days. And we have what we call a Kelly Day. So every 3 weeks you're off for 5 days. So, I mean,
Right.
it's a great
It's a really
Great
good
schedule. You
schedule.
can't
but,
beat it.
but of course, it comes with stuff, right? Because you're out there saving lives. There's a lot of,
right.
there's a lot going on for you guys. And so
There
you need
is.
those 2 days to kind of,
Kind of
Relax.
yeah, catch yourself.
To get
Because,
back to
physically,
it.
mentally.
yeah, and I don't want to mention certain things in this interview because I don't want to discourage anybody from it, but it is real. I don't want to make people think like you just, it's just about putting out fires. There's so many levels to actually what you guys can do. There's different, I guess, courses you guys could take as well to even earn more money. Is that correct? Hazmat and different other things. Marine.
Yep.
There's so many levels to what you do, even in Miami-Dade County. So if you like the water for real, you can probably be on that marine side. You could work over at Hollover and and stuff like that. It's so cool. So let's talk about the qualifications. Let's get to people who are now listening to this and are really interested. What are the qualifications to get in?
So you do need to be at least 18 years old at the time you apply. You do have to either have your GED or have graduated from high school. You need to have a valid driver's license and be able to have. You need to be able to work in the U.S. You also need to have not smoked any tobacco for at least a year before you apply.
That's new, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you also go through a background check and a physical exam.
That's what's up. All right. Do you need to be a certified firefighter or paramedic at the time of application? No.
No,
Okay.
you
All
don't.
right. All right.
You can
That's
come
what's
in
up.
with having no certs.
How difficult is the test? 'Cause I know there's a written test as well. Like, how difficult is that test? Maybe you could speak to
So
that.
it's the audio written screening test. It's about 100 questions, and it's really cool because a lot of people think that it's about fire or EMS, and because we hire non-certified and we take people with no experience at all, so that test really it's a basic aptitude test almost. It'll have
Gotcha.
some map reading, it'll have some math, some grammar, some listening components to it, but you really don't need to have, you don't need to be a firefighter, you don't need to be a paramedic or EMT, and that kind of wraps it up in that test to test everybody.
How long does the process take to get hired after you fill out the application? Like, is it a long process after that?
It can be a long process. It can take anywhere from a couple of months to possibly a couple of years.
Gotcha.
Depending on how quickly you finish whatever step you happen to be at that moment.
Gotcha.
So,
Makes sense.
yeah.
Makes sense. And the recruitment academy, how long does that last for?
So it depends. If you come in as a certified firefighter and you've already been through the state training, it can be as little as 3 months. Harbin and I came in as non-certified, so what we call somebody with no experience.
Right.
And for us, it was about 7 to 8 months.
Okay.
And if you don't have any medical experience either, so you're not an EMT, it could take a little bit more, around 8 to 9 months.
And is the training hard?
it's very difficult.
Gotcha.
Mentally and
difficult.
physically, yeah.
Yeah.
It pushes
But
you.
we would want that. I don't want,
Yeah.
a wimp saving my life. I don't know if I said that wrong, but I'm just me. But, you want the best, You want people who've been through the pressures and could take pressure to be able to do that. So, yeah.
And I like that you
I'm
say that
glad.
it was, like you mentioned it earlier, it's as real as it gets. We're in the field and we're responding to calls, and when anybody has any emergency, we're kind of like the first one that they think of. So we have to train, we train for every situation. Like you mentioned, hazardous materials, technical rescue, whatever emergency the public has, we're supposed to respond to it. So we train to that level.
Have you guys, and this may be outside of the recruiting thing, this is just because I care, do you guys also deal with, have a unit that deals with mental health? Because I know that's like a thing too now,
So we have an in-house. We're really good with our own firefighters. We have a peer support program for our firefighters, and like you said, the traumas that we go through.
Yes.
With the community, we do work alongside police with the crisis response unit. That's a little section that we have. But we do, that's the big thing now. So we do involve our family with that. Our brothers and sisters, and making sure that we're very mentally healthy.
No, the in-house is super important, and I think it needs to be even a heavier investment. Because just even talking to some of my firefighter friends, wow, and they talk about it like it's nothing. So for them to even be able to do that takes like a lot, Like where do you put that? You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad that they've invested into that. So we talked about some of the different specialties like, search and rescue, venom response, training, education. There's so many different levels and specialties that you can get into with Miami-Dade Fire Rescue. Have any one of you dove into those different?
Well, I have my what we call a PFL. So that's a certification so you can become a driver engineer.
Oh, cool.
So that's a certification that you can have. So I drive the big trucks.
Yeah, that's what's up. That's what's up.
For me, not as of yet. I just recently received my paramedic certification.
Okay,
So
the
that
EMT.
takes
Yeah.
it takes about a year to obtain that. So I plan on now going ahead and doing the driver's getting the driver's certification.
Well, congratulations on that. Young fella.
I'm on the same page as Harbin. Recently became a paramedic.
All right.
I work at a really cool station where we have a technical rescue unit. So I'm on the rescue unit, but we have the fire truck that's technical rescue. So it's really cool being able to see, that side of, special responses and all that. So that's a really cool one.
Got you. So let's talk about some of the incidents you see daily. Let's refrain from the suicides and the motorcycle accidents. Outside of that, you want to talk about some of the daily incidents that you guys have to deal with or see?
Vehicle collisions, serious, sometimes fender benders, of course. Anything medical emergency from, just not feeling well, stomach aches to the most severe that you can think of.
So I think people have a hard time wrapping their head around because it's called, you've had to change the name to understand that, like, we don't just put out fires.
Right, definitely
You know what I mean?
not.
To get people to understand that, because you just think firefighter, you just think fires. Right. And we've gone through a plethora of different things that you all do. But out of all of the calls that you get, I'm going to assume that fire is probably the least, right?
I would say yes.
Yeah.
As a
I would say
department,
yes.
for sure.
Just with how people frequently call, like you said, from a stomach ache to car accidents to all these different things, they happen a lot more frequently than an actual fire.
Right.
I would say yes.
What about the huge fires? Can you talk about that, like industrial and stuff like that, where what do they call it, 5-alarm, where everybody got to come from different cities? And have you ever experienced any of that?
That's where it puts you to your test. That's where that physical and mental side comes together, and all that training comes in, and that's where you're using those skills, and that's the really cool part. But I love that you mentioned the EMS, like the medical side. That's our day-to-day. That's our bread and butter. That's our community engagement. So if you really want to work with the community and be there for those people, that's the part where we really make such a big impact. Is they come to us and they look at us for help and they look at us for solutions, and we're really able to step in and be there for the community, which is awesome.
Let's end it out with letting people know the deadlines and the information now so that they can get involved and get started if they're interested.
Okay. Well, you have the opportunity to go on miamidade.gov/jobs, create an account, and you have until August 11th to submit your application.
Got you.
Yeah. Make sure you're looking out for a job number. I believe it's 95513. That's the specific job number that you're looking for.
Okay.
And before that deadline gets through, we do have some open houses, which is an awesome opportunity for the public to come to our firehouses.
Oh, that's so cool. Talk about
we're going to
those.
be there, the recruitment team, and to be able to see what we do. We'll have live demonstrations. You'll be able to look at the equipment, see what we deal with on a day-to-day basis. So we'll have 3 of them. They're going to be from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. We have one this Saturday, July 26th. That's Fire Station 2. Saturday, August 2nd at Fire Station 29 over in Sweetwater. And Saturday, August 9th, down in the Cutler Bay area at Fire Station 34. So these are all
I'll post
Miami-Dade Fire
those.
Rescue stations.
I'll post those on our social media, so if anybody wants to attend them, but I think that's a great opportunity to be up close and personal and really connect with you guys and see what the next steps are. Thank you so much again. I appreciate
Thank you
you.
for having us.
Of course.